For more on the football team from Pittsburgh, let's go to the stadium formerly known as Heinz Field, Acrisure Field in Pittsburgh. We're going to call it Heinz. That's where we find our Jenna Harner, sports reporter from our Cox affiliate in Pittsburgh, WPXI Channel 11. Jenna, thanks for joining us. How's the weather there tonight?
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. So glad to be with you. And I can tell you it's a whole lot better than it was just a couple days ago here. There were 2 weather delays this past Sunday. Rain, thunder, lightning, things are not used to for early December, but this feels a whole lot more like December football. Although I will say it's a little bit warmer than I think a lot of people anticipated here. Not as chilly as expected, but pure December football, exactly what we look for here in Pittsburgh.
Let's talk about last week's loss. Again, we want your Steelers perspective because we can go on and on about the Patriots, but the Steelers, their fans and the players are not happy about last week's loss. They lost Kenny Pickett. They had 9 penalties in the game. I mean, it's really still smarting a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just a brutal week here in Pittsburgh over the last couple days. The team kind of thankful they had this Thursday night game to really turn the page and turn it quickly. But it all kind of came down to that 14-point swing there where on 3rd and 1, Kenny Pickett gets injured when he was scrambling. They could not get it into the end zone. They turned it over on downs just 1 yard outside. And then Arizona went and led the team down a 99-yard touchdown drive, So that was really a massive swing. You lose your quarterback, and that in turn really lost the Steelers the game. They have such a bad taste in their mouths from that one. Multiple players in the locker room saying they might have taken the Cardinals a little bit too lightly, and they are not going to be expected to do that here tonight. All the guys we've talked to this week said, yes, this Patriots team coming in has 2 wins, but they're a very good team. They're very sound defensively, and they know they're going to have their hands full on both sides of the ball tonight.
Jenna, tell us about Mitch Trubisky. He's no stranger to football fans, but what are the Steelers fans' thoughts about him at quarterback now?
Well, the crazy thing is usually when your starting quarterback goes down and your backup has to come in and play for not just 1 game, but what we're thinking and what we're hearing, it's going to be at least 2 to 4 games Kenny Pickett might miss. There's usually that drop-off, right? Well, with Mitch Trubisky, there really isn't that much of a drop-off, and that says a lot not only about his talent and his ability. He's been a starter in this league. Obviously, he's been around the block. He's a veteran. He can lead these guys, but Kenny Pickett's development has not been what the Steelers or the fans really have expected coming into this season. So Trubisky tonight, we've talked with him throughout the week. He talked a little bit about how he really anticipated being a little bit aggressive. He's going to look to push the ball down the field. Calculated aggression was one of the phrases that he used. But at the end of the day, this offense has had a lot of trouble scoring points. They've had a lot of struggles when they've gotten into the red zone, and they're going to look to Trubisky to solve some of those red zone issues, as Kenny Pickett, again, is going to be out at least 2, if not more like 4 weeks.
Jenna, we got about a minute left. I want to ask you about Mike Tomlin and his future. So much talk about Bill Belichick's future in New England. Tomlin's been there for 17 years, only coach in NFL history to not start his whole career and still not have a losing season. What's his future in Pittsburgh? What are people talking about? Firing him?
Well, it's really interesting because I think you look nationally, and this is a guy that is spoken so highly about time in, time out. And this week, there are some national people saying, hey, should Mike Tomlin be fired? Is he kind of responsible for his team saying that they were taking things a little bit too lightly against the 2-win Cardinals? But the reality is Mike Tomlin's future is sound in Pittsburgh, at least for this year. He's never had a losing season, like you mentioned. Art Rooney, the team, he's such a big part of what they do, not only as a coach, but as a talent evaluator in the decisions he makes in the draft room. Mike Tomlin, at least for now, not going anywhere, but this team does not want to be the first team that gives him his first losing season in his tenure.
All right, Jenna, let's finish with a prediction. I'll give you mine. 12-6 Steelers. It's going to be as ugly as it sounds. 2 field goals for the Patriots, and the Steelers are going to get a field goal, a touchdown, and a safety to win it. Give me your prediction.
I was going to say, I think that kind of sounds pretty spot on right there. I'm going a little more scoring here. I think it's going to be 20-10. I think one of these 2 teams will have a defensive touchdown scored in some way, just based on the lack of production we've seen from both of these offenses. I anticipate TJ Watt potentially having a big night for the Steelers, so I'm going Steelers 20, Patriots 10, but this is not going to be a pretty one, guys.
All right, Jenna, thanks so much. Great to meet you, and thanks for joining us on our pregame show.